Hey fellow YouTubers, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man, and we're getting ready to share with you another video from Metropolitan Restoration Service Incorporated. Today's video will take you on a tour through the shop and introduce you to all the fellas that work there. So hang on to your hats and here we go. Okay, now we're outside of the mechanical repair part of the shop, and this is John Reeder, and he's going to tell us what happens here.
Well, what we do down here is basically when the cars come in, if they come in for a full restoration, we do all of this assembly down here, and then all the reassembly at the end of a restoration. We also do all our mechanical work. A lot of cars come in that need brake rebuilds, electrical wiring, things like that. And all that work is done down here. We have two lifts that we use. Pretty much all the tools and so forth you need to go along with that. We don't do any body work or painting or anything like that down here. That's all done up towards the other end of the shop. And it helps keep everything clean and separated.
Now you don't do your own engine rebuilding here, correct?
No, we have a local company down in Sunbury that has done probably a dozen or more engines for us now. They do all that for us. We don't really have the equipment to do that.
Yep.
But the only other thing we don't do here is convertible top installation and headliner installation. We also subcontract that. Other than that, pretty much everything else is done here in our own facility.
And for you guys that like to collect memorabilia, you'll be fascinated with all of the signage that these guys have outside here. There's one there for Cadillac, and another one here for Buick, and Willys, and Pontiac, and I noticed inside there's one for GMC and another one for Chrysler up there.
There's a Packard one. There's
Mobile Gas.
Now those ones are, all that stuff pretty much reproduction.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I noticed you have a very nice looking refrigerator in here.
Yes, that we do. That is our $30 shopper paper special. It's a late 1940s Philco. I found a shopper for $30. It was a guy's meat freezer, and went over and looked at it. I thought, that'd be perfect. We always need one for here in the shop. So we brought it in, sanded it all down, and painted it, and added the Pepsi decals to sort of give it a little bit of something extra, but thing still works. And
look at that.
Still works great, keeps our lunches and everything else.
There you go.
Good and cold, so we love it.
Great. Now we're going into the parts room here. And not only do these fellas do restoration work, but they also sell parts. And Paul told me that they're one of the top suppliers of Metropolitan parts in the United States.
Yeah, we're one of the top two suppliers in the United States. We pretty much carry everything and anything that you could need to restore your National Metropolitan. Our biggest thing is everything that we sell, we use here in the shop. Okay. And a lot of the things that we sell have come about because of working on the cars in the shop. We've either added to what initially was out there, or just made things a little bit better and more user-friendly for everything. So I think we stock over 1,000 part numbers now.
Wow.
And we ship every day. We ship on average 4 to 5 packages a day, all over the country and all over the world.
And where do you source a lot of your parts from, as far as...
A lot of the stuff comes indirectly from England still. There's a lot of manufacturers in England that still make a lot of the parts, since the Metropolitan was an English-built car.
Right.
It didn't use American components to begin with. It used all European-based driveline, suspension, steering stuff. So a lot of the stuff comes from there. A lot of the sheet metal parts and things like that are made in Vermouth, and some of the other heavier metal fabricated pieces like battery boxes and jack stands and things like that are actually made at a local welding and fabrication shop here in Mifflinburg. Okay. We use a few local companies that make a lot of stuff for us also.
Great.
And we also do some of the stuff in-houses. Some things are actually produced here too, or modified to be for production here.
And the parts aren't all big parts either. I noticed they got some parts laid out here on the bench in packages, screws and
Yep, we
grommets and so forth.
We carry all the little trim screws and everything that's to make the car as correct as possible and as easy for you to put it back together as possible.
This one is front kick panel for a hard top.
Yep.
6 screws and trim cups.
For the interior kits.
There you go. All right, great. Let's take a walk over into the paint booth.
We've had this up now for about 2 years. Myself and the other employee actually went out to Altoona and removed this from an existing body shop out there, a car dealership. They had acquired a GMC dealership, so they no longer could fit the big quad cab trucks and so forth. So we bought this, completely disassembled it, hauled it back in about 5 trips in a U-Haul van, stored it for about a year, and then put it back together in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
It has full heat and bake. The lights and stuff aren't on right now, but...
And for you guys who have been watching my channel, you'll recognize the little vehicle that's taking up residence in here right now.
Yeah, it's back in.
Cab.
There's a few little touch-up things from assembly that we repaired, and then later this afternoon, it's going to get a full detail, and then tomorrow it goes to the customer.
Great.
Shipped to the customer.
They'll be happy with that, I'm sure.
Well, it's getting shipped to the customer's meeting us at Hershey for the car show. It's going to be shipped there, and showed there, and then judged on Saturday, hopefully.
Great. Okay. Well, let's take a walk into the next section. As you can see, guys, this is a full-service shop, not just a little here and a little there.
We do mix all our own paints here. We use Standox paint.
Okay.
So we can pretty much mix any color. We have a computer mixing system, and everything's done in-house here. We don't order our paints out. Everything's done here now.
Okay. And as you can see in the mechanical section, they don't just do Metropolitans. They had a Corvette down there that they were finishing up, and they were working on a BMW, and this looks like a Chrysler product to me.
This is a 1978 Chrysler New Yorker. The customer, it was their father's car. He owned it since new. It was been kept in pretty good condition, but the Pennsylvania roads did take their tolls on it. We needed to fabricate lower rear quarter panels, and all the paint had faded and was starting to come apart. So it's being completely stripped for a complete repaint on it.
Okay.
And then,
and who's this young fellow working over here?
This is Kevin MacLeod, our metal fabricator, and
now he's trying
one
to
of our
hide.
body men.
Trying to hide from me.
He's working on this. Is a 1935 Dodge pickup truck cab.
Okay.
That the customer brought to us. He's owned the truck since the 50s, and it was just time that it really needed to be gone back over. The bottoms of the cab and the bottoms of the cowl had rotted. So now it's in the process of, all the sheet metal work has been done, and now it's in the process of body repair.
So are you doing the full restoration, or are you just doing the cab for him?
No, this is a full restoration. The bed, actually, you can see what's left of the bed behind Kevin. That's the bed frame. We had to have, we had to fabricate brand new bed sides, and pretty much 90% of the bed is going to be new fabrication.
Wow.
This is about all that's left that's going to be original.
Okay.
It was used to haul rocks and everything else, and it was in very, very poor condition.
Well,
So.
isn't that what trucks are for?
Yes.
Now we think they're riding around in.
Yeah, exactly.
And what is this panel van
This
here?
is a 1941 Chevy panel truck.
Okay.
It has the same kind of history. The owner bought it when he was 15
Wow.
for $100 in, I think, about 1968, and has kept it ever since. And in the last couple years has finally been in the position to have it restored. It's actually being built into a mild street rod.
Okay.
It's going to run a 350 engine and transmission. But the body will be pretty much stock. We're currently in the process of getting it. There's a lot of metal work that needs done and so forth, and we're sort of getting ready to do that.
And maybe you can describe some of this equipment here.
Machinery here, yeah.
I know we have, this is a sandblasting cabinet.
We use glass bead in that.
Okay.
The next machine, this is a punishing hammer, mainly for stretching metal. You run a piece through here, you can build a dome and things like that with this.
Okay.
This is a slip roller for building curved pieces.
All right.
The red and black machine is our bead roller, which we can put steps and beads and so forth in flat panels. And then our sheet metal brakes in the back, which is the other green machine. And then the gray and blue is our English wheel. Right now, because of what we're doing in the body shop, we're not using these tools a whole lot right now, so they're just sort of packed away to the side until we get started with some more metal work.
What's this little thing down the back here with the
wheel?
Yeah.
That is for curving rod, for like half-inch rod and so forth. It's called a wheeling machine basically, but you can make a hoop and things like that. That machine gets used for if you have to do reinforcing work in window openings, things like that. So we can roll a piece of tubing to match to form a section, things like that.
Okay. What is this? I got to back up even more. We got a big piece of equipment here. To the left.
This machine here, actually, was made in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, in one of the foundries up there. It originally was a lumberyard bandsaw. When the lumber would come in, there was two large wheels that ran top and bottom, and a blade that ran down along this here. The wood would come through and be sawn into planks then with this
Okay.
machine. Now, these are extremely heavily made. They don't flex. So what we are in the process of doing is we're going to turn this into a power hammer, which is basically a forming machine where we will make dies. If you need a rib or a raised edge that needs to be a little more intricate than what a bead roller can do, this machine will do it then.
How about louvers?
Louvers,
can you
exactly.
punch 100 louvers in my deck for me?
This is great for punching louvers. This machine, for doing louver work, you can do louvers on this machine, which is great for like early cars that have the long flat hood sides that you need a long louver.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to do louvers like in your deck lid, like you were saying, that is usually more of a punch machine. That's a single stroke at a time and punches each louver individually.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different.
I used a louver press many years ago. I was street rodding a 41 Ford sedan with a small block Chevy in it. And we punched louvers in the hood. And the machine we borrowed was custom made by a fellow that owned a machine shop. And it didn't have a hydraulic press or an arm on it. You had to swing a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
So you had two guys holding the hood and one guy standing up top swinging a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Came out pretty good actually.
If you take your time, anything will work. And then the other machine is just a belt sander that's we don't have a high enough torque motor on it. We change the motor on it. We've never really get it to work 100%.
Yeah.
It's another American-made machine, so that's why we kind of bought it. And we'll get it working eventually. So it's 100%.
And I see you got a welder down there.
Yeah, we have our torch set, and then our Lincoln electric TIG welder that we use when we do aluminum welding and suspension work and things like that.
Okay. And you use MIG welding primarily?
We use MIG welding primarily for all our sheet metal installation.
Okay.
The TIG is used more for the precision work and aluminum whenever we have to do that.
Back when I was doing body work, a lot of the welding of panels was still done with a torch.
Yes. Yeah.
And
we use the torch mainly for heating, cutting, things like that now.
So you're pretty well set up for doing most anything here in-house.
Yes, we've tried so many places I've been in and so forth. When everything you send out, if you don't have your hands on it, it's just a lot more difficult to control it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot better in the end if you have control over as many things as possible.
Yeah.
So we've tried over the years to expand and add everything on so we can do everything that we possibly can.
Well, thanks, John. I appreciate it. And thank you for taking us on the tour through the shops. And for those of you who are watching this video on YouTube, check out the links that we are putting along with these videos. There's going to be a series of them. And you can go directly to their website, which is, what's the name on the website?
The website is www.metropolitanrestorationservice.com.
Okay. And the address is where?
303 Main Street, Arlton, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And the phone number?
570-922-0012.
Okay. And You can tell it's right along a main road, and yet we're really out in the country here.
Yes, we are. We're on Route 45, which we get a lot of traffic through here, but it's nice. It's a nice, quiet area too.
Yep. All you have to do is you could walk out in the backyard, and all you're going to see is mountains. In fact, I'm going to do that before I leave.
Yeah, we're in this valley. We're at the sort of the narrower end of the valley, so we have mountains only about a half a mile on each side of us. All our customers, we have a lot of customers that come in from the tri-state area, and they just think it's amazing here. And it's something I guess you take for granted growing up.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. Well, thank you again, John, and thank you for Kevin for letting me get in the way.
Yep.